everyone, and welcome to the show. Today I'm going to be ranking my favorite characters from the 2005 movie Pride and Prejudice. So here we have my tier list. Here at the top we have 1,000 Times Yes. Obviously that is our top tier for our very best, our favorite characters. Next we have Very Accomplished for characters that aren't quite my favorite but are still pretty good. Next we have No Money, No Prospects, which is where I'm going to be putting the characters that feel just a little bit boring to me. No Money, No Prospects is for characters I don't have a lot of opinion on because maybe they weren't in the movie that much. Next up we have My Poor Nerves, which is where I'm going to be putting the characters that I find a little bit annoying. Next we have Barely Tolerable, where we put the characters that we don't like. And then of course finally we have My Good Opinion Once Lost is Lost Forever, and I think you can probably guess who is going in there. So let's get started. So the first one I think I'm going to put up is Elizabeth, because obviously 1,000 Times Yes. Okay, so our next person, I'm going to put Colonel Fitzwilliam next with No Money, No Prospects, because he's just kind of boring in this movie. Like, I like him fine, but he's barely in it. He barely had a chance to be in it, which makes sense because the movie could only be 2 hours long. If I was ranking the characters in the book, or even from the 95 miniseries, I might rank him as, like, Very Accomplished, but he's just not in this movie enough, so he's No Money, No Prospects, because he's just kind of boring. So the next person I want to put up is Charlotte. I'm going to put her in 1,000 Times Yes. This might be controversial, but I really like this version of Charlotte. Really, my only problem with her is that I kind of feel like her personality might have changed a little bit after she got married in this movie, but still love Charlotte. So she goes to 1,000 Times Yes. I'm already thinking that some of my choices here are going to be pretty controversial, so please feel free to comment your own opinions down below. I'd be happy to see you guys' opinions too. Next I'm going to do Wickham. My Good Opinion Once Lost is Lost Forever. But I do want to say that this Wickham I really thought did a good job. I'm not a fan of the 95 Wickham, but I think that the 2005 Wickham did a really good job at being Wickham. I think the casting was good. I think the acting was good. I think that Wickham is one of the things that 2005 did much better than 1995. Next up, let's do Mary. I feel like she just goes No Money, Prospects. No Money, No Prospects. The 2005 version of Mary is more likable than in the book or in the 1995 version, but to me, she's still not that interesting, and she's not really my favorite. I'm sorry. Next up, I forgot her name. It's Anne de Burgh. I'm gonna put her in Barely Tolerable. She's barely in it, so I feel like maybe it'd be fair to put her in No Money, No Prospects, but I'm sorry that I don't like her. Next up, let's put on Caroline Bingley. She goes in Barely Tolerable. She did not have that much time to be in this movie, but she did a really good job. I feel like the casting and acting for Caroline in this movie is really good. And so, although I'm putting her in Barely Tolerable because she's a bad guy character, obviously, she still did a really good job, and I think it was one of the better. Why are the villains so good in this movie? Caroline and Wickham both were, like, really well cast and acted. Anyways, but let's get back to the tier list. Lady Catherine de Bourgh. I don't feel like she deserves My Good Opinion Once Lost is Lost Forever, but I feel like she shares that sentiment with Mr. Darcy. No Money, No Prospects. She's too much of an opinion for that. My Poor Nerves are Barely Tolerable. Obviously, her character is obnoxious, but I feel like she'd be a fun character to play. Like, if I was ever an old lady and I get to be in the 2065 version of Pride and Prejudice, I'd like to play Lady Catherine. Or Mrs. Bennet. I don't know if I'd be good at either one, but I think they'd be really fun characters to play. I'm gonna put her in My Poor Nerves. No, I can't decide. I'm gonna put her back for later. Okay. Next up is Bingley, and you're not gonna believe where I'm gonna put him. I'm putting him in My Poor Nerves. That doesn't mean he's more boring or unlikable than No Money and No Prospects. I just don't like that Bingley's dumb in this one. I'm sorry. If it was the book, if we're rating the book or 95, I'd probably put him in Very Accomplished, but I'm sorry. This one's just a little bit too dumb for me. That actually makes it easier to pick Lady Catherine because I feel like her and Bingley should not be in the same one. So she gets to be Barely Tolerable. Okay. Next up, let's do Lydia, because she's next. I wasn't doing it in order of the pictures, but now I am. Don't ask me why, because there is not a reason. Okay. I feel like she deserves Poor Nerves or Barely Tolerable. I think I'll put her in Poor Nerves for now. Mr. Bennet, No Money, No Prospects, and sorry, he's just kind of boring. Next up, we have Kitty. I'm going to put her in No Money, No Prospects too, because she's more likable than Lydia. Lydia's the one who gets into all the trouble. Next up, Mr. Collins. he's annoying, but he's also really funny. Okay, so it's either my poor nerves or very accomplished. I like this Mr. Collins better than the one in 1995 for sure, and I like this Mr. Collins better than I like this Mr. Bingley. So should I put him in my poor nerves or should I put him in very accomplished? I'm gonna put him back for now because I can't decide. Okay, Georgiana, very accomplished, obviously. She's barely in this movie, but in the time she is in it, I don't even know if she's in it like 5 minutes, but in the time she's in it, I just really like how she's so happy. She just seems like Georgiana to me, even though she's not specifically just like the one in the book who's so shy she could barely speak to anyone. She's so fun and happy. I just like her. Mrs. Bennet is another hard one. I mean, she's annoying, but also I like this version of Mrs. Bennet better than I like this version of Bingley. So again, I think I'm gonna put her in very accomplished because she's a fun character. And I think I'm going to put Mr. Collins in very accomplished too because I like him as a character. So next up, Mr. Darcy. I think some of you guys are going to disagree with me as I put him in very accomplished. I'm sorry, I just don't think he's as cool as Elizabeth in this movie. We only have 2 more people to go, or 3 more because the gardeners are counting as one person, sort of half of each of their heads. But I'm going to put them in very accomplished because they were helpful people. They didn't have much time to be in the movie, but I still think they did a good job for the time they were there. Okay, I don't know if I like them quite as well as I did Georgiana, so may I put them... I'll let them be very accomplished too. And then finally we have Jane. Jane Bennet. You can't put Jane Bennet not in 1,000 Times Yes, can we? I don't think so. So that is my ranking of the characters from the 2005 version of Pride and Prejudice. Make sure to comment below how you would rank your favorite characters. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, bye, bye. It's time to say goodbye, bye, bye. Bye, bye, bye. It's time to go. Time's up, we're all done. Time for me to run. Bye, bye.